Hello everybody and welcome back to Cinema on the Nile. Merry Christmas everyone, and hope you're having a fun time with your family and friends. We are back and we are talking today about episode 7. It made it, it finally came out, we all got to see it and we enjoyed ourselves very much. And let me introduce my co-host, of course, John.
Hey everybody, John the Statistic Guy. I hope you guys are having a great holiday, and you know, New Year's is coming up. A lot of people went to go see Star Wars. We definitely enjoyed seeing it ourselves. When we even went there was already a line.
Oh yeah.
We went about 45 minutes, an hour early.
Yeah.
Crazy line. Really enjoyed it. We went and actually saw it on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. and the place was probably 80% full, would you say?
Oh yeah.
Close to it?
Pretty much.
But
there was people everywhere.
oh yeah, great movie. We're going to discuss a little bit about it. Towards the end, we actually want to discuss a few ideas that we have with the show. We want to get your guys' opinions. As always, we're going to ask that you let us know in the comment section. We would appreciate any feedback you guys could give us. But where do you want to start?
Well, first and foremost, let me just tell you, when we first got out there to the theaters, we had a we had very high expectations of the lines, and we were just about right. When we walked into theaters, like John was saying, we saw a whole lot of people lined up in a way that you would see in a theme park.
Mm-hmm.
And it had the lines going in and out, you know, like one line in, like, you know, like a serpentine kind of style. And people were just, you know, getting up early, getting there to see the movie, and everybody's just chatter about the movie. I mean, that's how much high expectation they had on the film. And then we went inside and sat down, and John shared something with me, which I'm going to share with you guys. I'm going to say, John, I'm sorry. I love you, kid, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
He shed a tear, folks.
Oh, God.
He shed a tear.
Okay, I will admit it. I will admit it. And we're going to get in more a little bit about the story and stuff like that, but that moment that the scroll started rolling and John Williams started, I'm not going to lie, I had to lean over to Joe and said, I teared up a little bit. And he about fell out of his chair. And I'm like, I'm serious. Like, I was smiling ear to ear, and oh, it was great.
I felt like I was taking my, I guess the word is what?
Padawan?
But yeah, my young Padawan. I was taking my young Padawan with me to share the movie, and he leaned over and says, I shed a tear, Joe. I kind of looked over and said...
No, I said I teared up. I didn't shed a tear.
Oh, I'm sorry. Same thing? He teared up. He teared up just a little bit. And so I kind of looked at him like, okay, John, that's cool. You're allowed. I ain't going to say nothing, but I am, because everybody needs to know you love this movie as much as everybody else does. I mean, I like it too, of course.
Yeah, and to run into the story a little bit, as everyone knows, because it's hot on the plate. 3 decades after the defeat of the Galactic Empire, a new threat arises. The First Order attempts to rule the galaxy. Only a ragtag group of heroes can stop them, along with the help of the Resistance. So, pretty vague description. Really good movie. I will say it right at the beginning, and I know you're going to make this joke too. It reminds us a lot of Episode 4.
Ding, 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 ding. Winner!
But in a good way. To be honest, out of all the Star Wars and the classic ones, did not like 4. Not a lot happens in 4.
Yeah, but it was the beginning of it.
Exactly. Character development, the acting wasn't as good. The story was kind of establishing a lot of stuff, and that's kind of like how 4 did, even though it kind of had a precedence, it kind of had to reestablish it.
Yeah.
Because they're starting a new generation, and for kids that haven't even seen it, there's people I know that haven't seen any of them still. We discussed that.
Oh yeah, as you guys watched in our little interviews that we had, which was the little treat we were talking about for you, those were a lot of fun to do. People were just coming up to us and asking us, what is this all about? And we just hit it off with a bunch of people, and they were talking about the movies, as you saw. Like John was saying about 4 and 7, to me, it felt like I was watching 4 remade.
But better, in my opinion.
Yeah, of course. I mean, better graphics, better, you know, special effects and so on and so forth. But for the most part, it felt like it was kind of the same movie. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Star Wars, but it just felt the same to me. I don't know. Explain it better, maybe. You can explain it better.
In my opinion, if 4, 5, and 6 never started out, and this was the first one in the series, to be honest, I don't think this movie would do that well. I think it would do great, but not as well as it did.
That is, you hit the nail on the head, my friend. That's exactly what I was going to say next.
Because 80% of the revenue is nostalgia.
Pretty much. I mean, if you guys, I'm sure by now everybody's watched it. I mean, today is Thursday. I mean, we're, you know, Christmas Eve. And it's been out for almost a week, actually a week, because it came out the 17th at night. So if you guys haven't seen it by now, we're not really giving anything away. We're just sharing with you what we think. So if you want to go and watch it, by all means, go ahead and do so. I personally think, John, that like you just said, I mean, I couldn't have said it any better. Seriously, I couldn't have said it any better. I mean, that really is true. If this movie has not been a prequel or sequel, I should say, a sequel rather, not a prequel, a sequel, then really it would not have made as good a money as it has made.
And speaking of that real fast, I wanted to say this. I don't have the exact number. I believe it ended up capping on the first night at 37 million. It was between 34 or 37.
Something like that.
Since then, they've already updated it. So the budget of the movie was estimated about 200 million, which is, pretty pricey movie. But so far in the first weekend, it already broke even with $238 million as of December 18th.
Wow.
So that's a few days expired. So they need to update that on IMDb. But wow.
Wow is right.
So you spend a year and a half filming a movie and you break even on the first weekend. That's impressive.
That's pretty strong.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I went in knowing that pre-sales was already at 20 million.
Yep.
Just in pre-sales. And then, of course, the weekend, the big Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I mean, people were just lined up all over the place. We didn't get a chance to do what we wanted to do, which is actually go out and see people lined up, like on Wednesday or Tuesday, because it was just
Work.
Well, work was overtime, and it was just kind of difficult for us to actually move around. But for the most part, we were able to talk to some friends, and they pretty much told us what we were expecting. I mean, people were out there lined up on Tuesday, on Wednesday, on Thursday. People didn't go to work.
Yeah.
So the hype was real. The hype was strong. So, I mean...
Well, it's still sitting, and I'm a big fan of IMDb. It's still sitting at an 8.7 out of 10. Now, as you guys know, the highest rank based off that is a 9.2 with Shawshank Redemption. Now, this 8.7 is based off of, higher the number that I told you this, 197,118 people voted it, and that's the average out of that amount, which most movies don't have that many votes.
Yeah.
And obviously they might have higher pointage because, the average is less defined. That one's pretty defined. I mean, overall, J.J. Abrams, I think, did a really good job. I will say this, and we're going to talk about it more with spoilers. I just want to say the beginning, spoiler-free. After the scroll, the first scene, the whole establishing stuff, we're not going to go into too much details. At first, it didn't feel like Star Wars.
No.
I'm not going to lie. The first 15 minutes, it didn't start feeling like Star Wars. Almost, I would say, until Han and Chewie came on screen.
And why is that? Tell me why you say that. And I'll tell you me after you say you.
Well, the reason why I say that is that they spend the majority of the first, I would say, almost 30 minutes, because you really don't see spoilers. You don't really see Han and Chewie until about 30 minutes in the movie. I felt like, to not be specific, like I said, we're going to get into spoilers later, a lot of the situations were convenient. A lot of people are saying that it seems like things seemed rushed. I like to use the term ex machina a lot, which basically means things that normally wouldn't happen would happen to the purpose of a story. Like, oh, that's convenient. Oh, this just happened to be there. And you know what I'm talking about. We're going to discuss it later. But they were spending a lot of time establishing John Boyega. Very little at first, but they kind of built into it. Surprisingly enough, Oscar Isaac, who played as Poe Dameron, Poe Dameron, he actually had a lot more time than I thought. I love Oscar Isaac. He was actually in Ex Machina. I loved his character. It was brief, but for what they had, they made him a really endearing character.
Absolutely.
I think he's going to play a bigger role more in the other movies. I'm really betting that.
On 8, for sure.
Biggest star would be Daisy Ridley.
Yes, right on with Daisy Ridley.
Yes.
High five, baby.
She was great.
She was good.
She always had this doe-eyed look on her face about everything, though. It was like
she's just that new baby, baby look face, baby face look, I guess, if you want to call it that. And she had that kind of, you can tell she's fresh, she's new, she's excited. Yes, she had that wooden attitude about her, like J.J. Abrams said on the set of the first time. And you could tell the difference when she got comfortable, like I was mentioning last time.
Towards the end of the movie, definitely.
Towards the middle and the end of the movie. I mean, it's never shot in sequence, obviously. Films are never shot in sequence. But you can tell in certain scenes where she was comfortable, and then you can tell when she was not comfortable. I mean, you'd have to really know film and be able to understand what I'm saying by studying the character. And so I paid attention to that a lot, and I found that she was really bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, as they say, you know. But she was a good girl. I mean, she did exactly what she was set out to do. Now, piggybacking on what John just said, as far as the opening of the movie, and talking about Rey, she came in, and it didn't make me feel like we were watching Star Wars in the beginning either. It made me feel like we were watching that movie, and I can't remember the name. You'll look on the bottom. In about 2 seconds, you know, because this is pre-recorded, so I'll give you the name of the movie. You'll see it. It's with Tom Cruise, and he's in a desolate place, and he's going through machines and trying to find
Oblivion,
parts.
Or I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. We'll have the name
came
for
out
it
a few years ago.
Yeah, we'll have the name.
I believe
for
it is Oblivion.
If it's Oblivion, you'll see the subtitle on the bottom. But anyway, it made me feel like that movie, like she was just a scavenger.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it didn't really play into Anakin too much. A lot of people said that it had the Anakin character in it a lot because of the machine he was riding, and she was riding that machine as well, the hover machine.
Yeah, and if you guys see, we did a special. We did actually interview people. We had a lot of fun with that, and a lot of people pointed out the thing that I probably think bothered me, and it shouldn't have, is that they wanted to do it on more planets. The only planet that they named, like they literally name checked it like 7 times, is Jakar or Jakar, whatever it's called. Jakku. And it's Tatooine. Like, I don't know why they just couldn't put it on Tatooine. Like, I feel like they're trying to reskin 4, and it's like she's on a desert planet, looks a lot like Tatooine.
Hey, the Mojave Desert is the Mojave Desert, any which way you look at it.
Yeah, but there's in Star Wars lore, there's not too many desert planets. You have like Korriban or whatever it's called later in the expanded universe, where the Sith come from, and Tatooine. Those are the only ones that I can think of that are stereotypically desert planets.
Right.
You know, and no one's ever heard of Jakku before this. I mean, unless it's expanded universe, I don't know. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But they go to other planets, don't mention their names at all.
And I think they did that on purpose, to be honest.
Well,
they wanted to do that.
Yeah, and I don't want to go off on a tangent of it too much. It's just, they've name checked it so many times, like, it's not Tatooine. Like, they didn't say that, but I felt like that's what they had to force. But,
well, yeah, I'm sure they were writing that in for a reason, and we're going to find that out later.
Yeah, maybe.
By the way, guys, episode 8 does not come out until
May 17th.
May of 2017.
May 2017, sorry.
May of 2017. That's a long ways away.
And they start doing probably, they're probably going to do pre-production in January.
No, they're going to be in production January.
Production?
They're already in pre-production right now.
Okay.
So what does that mean? Pre-production means you're preparing, you're getting your characters, you're getting your paperwork, you're getting your sign releases, you're getting your...
probably taking winter break.
Taking a little bit of break. Well, the characters are taking breaks. The people who are behind the camera, nobody's taking a break.
No.
The production staff, everybody on the production staff is out there hunting for, or scouting rather, that's the correct term. They're scouting for locations if they already haven't gotten one. Finalizing paperwork and all that good stuff. That's basically what pre-production means. Production takes place in January on.
Yep.
And I'm sure, they're going to be shooting for quite some time. So.
Well, and I just wanted to say this, a disclaimer, me and Joe were talking about it, you know, we're trying to figure out the best length for this show. I wanted to say, you know, we're right now hitting about the 14-minute mark. We want these to be perfect length. A lot of podcasts, I wanted to say, are about an hour. We know we're new. We're going to try to limit that. We don't mind if you guys want to skip around. We sometimes get off tangents, but we want to have fun with it. We want it to be natural.
Absolutely.
I feel like even having a time frame constrains on our creativity and our enjoyment of it.
And there's no need for it.
Yeah, and I said in the first episode, I want this to be as little scripted as possible. We just have fun with it.
Yep.
You know, we want to shorten it as best possible because, you know, people don't have all day to watch it, but at the same time...
But if they love movies...
Exactly.
They're going to watch.
Yeah, exactly.
So...
But real fast, so do you want to... I'm just thinking, what do you want to talk about now? Do we want to start going into the spoilers, start talking about the story, things that we didn't
finish talking about the movie.
Yeah, so I just want to say my first part. Here on out, spoilers. I'm going to have like a little...
Yes, spoilers, spoiler alert. If you don't want to listen, cover your ears, walk away.
If you're the unfortunate person to skip to this part, sorry.
Go away.
Go away.
Shut us off.
But anyway, it's the Death Star again.
Dum dum dum.
But you know, iconically, they actually called it the Star Killer base. The reason why, 2 reasons: it actually kills stars, and 2, Luke Skywalker's original name was supposed to be Starkiller. And also, if you know the Force Unleashed, the video games that came out, they did another iconic thing where, in the expanded universe, Darth Vader's apprentice was nicknamed Starkiller. So there's a lot of throwbacks to, I don't think necessarily the game, but more Luke Skywalker's original filler name before they changed it.
Right.
It's basically a planet that they turned into a Death Star.
Star Killer. Looked like a Death Star.
Mm-hmm.
So much so, it was just like, I looked at it again and again, and I'm like, what were they trying to establish with that? I couldn't get it in my mind to figure out what he was trying to get at, being the writer and the director. So it's a planet that looks like a ship that looks like a planet.
Yeah, and this time it's no moon. It's a planet.
It's a planet.
Yeah,
it looks like a ship, but it's really a planet. And if you haven't seen it again, please go see what we're talking about. Or if you can bring it up online, go look at it.
I wanted to say real fast, and I'm going to transpose the poster up here. On the actual movie poster, people saw it at first. Like, what is that thing? Is that another Star Destroyer? I think he even mentioned, is that a Star Destroyer? And but here's the thing. It's a habitable planet. Like, they're actually on the base. It's not like it's like inside of the planet or anything like that.
But I think there was a goof when they were shooting you coming into the planet. It didn't look anything like when it was out of the atmosphere.
Well, it was supposed to be snowy-ish, kind of.
But it didn't. It looked like a ship.
Yeah, I would say that.
And it was that contradicting look of, is it a ship or is it really a planet?
Well, but here's the thing, and there's other things we want to mention in the story. I just wanted to say, though, they basically do another trench run.
Thank you. Someone had to say it.
Oh my God, it's a terminal. Let's go blow it up with a bunch of X-wings.
And then
if we do it, we blow up the planet. I'm like,
how ironic. It was the same exact plot as 4.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to go down into the planet. We're going to go through this little terminal, and we're going to blow up this little circuit that houses the whole entire planet.
And here's the best part. I wanted to say this. Poe Dameron's part. He's like, oh my God, someone blew a hole in the side. Let me go inside of it. I'm like,
gee,
no.
What? You rewrote 4 with new characters? Oh, great. Let's all go watch it. I'm not knocking it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It was still good. The special effects were cool. I mean, everything was cool about the movie. It just could have been better.
And I would say it's more of a subplot. I mean, the other thing I wanted to mention, and I know you're going to love this, we had a bet.
Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go.
We want to talk about 2 people. Daisy Ridley, we thought she was fine.
Yes.
The 2 people we want to discuss is John Boyega.
And I'm doing this for a reason. You'll get it in a second. Go ahead, John.
John Boyega. Basically, he plays as Finn. I forgot what his actual stormtrooper number was, but they ended up, he's like, what's your name? And he's like, well, I've never really had a name. And it was like F something something. And so like, Finn, I like Finn. Oscar Isaac gave him that name.
Yeah.
He breathes a lot.
That's all you got to say, really? Come on, it's a lot more than he breathes a lot. He was way overacting in the very beginning.
So he has a lot of woo and like a lot of like, it kind of felt out of place for Star Wars. Granted, love that there's a black guy in a big role. Just going to say the spoilers. We both called it. He's not the Jedi. Spoilers. Okay. I'm kind of happy about that. In a way, I feel like he's going to be more of the scoundrel, kind of like Han Solo later in the movies.
Right.
Because, spoilers again, Rey's a Jedi. We counted that. And here's the problem with that movie is, I wanted to say before we get back to John Boyega, that was the worst worst shocker ever. Because throughout the whole movie, they imply she's a Jedi. Not one time do they do it. And all they did with those shots of him having a lightsaber was just to make people think that.
Right, of course.
And I feel like it was kind of cheap, but at the same time kind of smart because they got a lot of people to go see it. I like that there's an empowered female character, more than Princess Leia. Because Princess Leia, awesome. Amidala kind of got lame at the end. She just whined a lot like Anakin Skywalker. But anyway, so almost every single scene, someone runs away. No one else was out of breath, but every single scene. So I agree with Joe. Not a pleasant sound.
It was overacting.
And he was trying to over-exaggerate the fact that he had anxiety. He was afraid. They implied he left the stormtroopers because he's like, this is not what I wanted to do. But what they implied was they stole him when he was a child, so he was trained to do this. So supposedly he went on his first mission and got scared. But so you lived in this your whole life, and now you're getting anxiety.
And what did we say when we were talking the other night, and I said, John, who do you think he's the kid of? And we both came up with the same. We both came up with it on the
Colt
same
45.
time. The Colt 45 man. So
I don't know why. I always Lando Calrissian.
Lando Calrissian.
I just don't know why that's such a name I can't remember.
I honestly think
That'd be so weird.
he is his kid.
Considering the unfortunate lack of black people that are in Star Wars, it kind of narrows it down. They just say he was stolen from his parents when he was younger. They don't really do it, but they haven't really said who he is. Kind of like they haven't said who Rey is.
Right.
Which we're gonna get into that a little bit later. I lost a bet. I was thinking he was gonna be a better actor. He's like I said in the last video, the only thing he's really done is attack the block, which is he's an English actor. He's not really known for more than that. The other guy I want to discuss is Adam Driver. Before I get into who he is, and you're getting that look, you know who I'm talking about. Adam Driver, apparently he was in the show called Girls, or I don't know. I never saw it. A lot of people said they liked him. Apparently he plays as a really weird character in that.
Oh, how surprising.
Yeah, so when they told me that, I'm like, wow, that sounds a lot like his character in Kylo Ren. Now, granted, the parts that kind of reminded me of 1, 2, and 3 is he gets temper tantrums. So a lot of people complain that, Anakin he's basically a baby. I don't want to do this. I don't, he's always complaining. In this movie, they're trying to portray him on the dark side, his anger, by his temper tantrums. That was probably the funniest part.
Well, let me intervene real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
From a director and a writer standpoint, his character was not developed thoroughly.
Yeah.
In my opinion, his character needed a lot of work.
Yeah.
He needed to be seasoned.
Agreed.
He needed to be taught correctly how to portray the man that he was playing.
And he could do a Luke Skywalker. Luke wasn't that great in the 4th one.
No, but see, in this day and age, you cannot go based on what people watched in 1977, 1978. You have to be much more up to par than what you were.
There is a higher benchmark for standards of movies these days. I do agree.
In my opinion, and it's humble. Please don't take what I'm saying to be etched in stone. It's just the way I feel as a filmmaker. I personally think that his character could have been a lot better. Even when he did the reveal. Yeah.
I'm sorry. That was like the most anticlimactic reveal ever. I'm sorry.
Unless that's what they were going for. I mean, I could tell you from a filmmaker standpoint, they could honestly be going for that to make him look that doopy. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. The nice word I'm looking for.
I'll say this. And I'm just going to say this off bat because this is in the spoiler section. So you find out he's, okay, here's the other thing. I wanted to say this. So they were supposed to have a twist. That's the word I was trying to use earlier. There's no really twist in this movie, other than kind of the ending, which we're going to discuss in a little bit, real quickly. You know what I'm talking about. Within the first 10, 15 minutes, they're like, yeah, I'm Han Solo's son. I'm like...
Well, I'm gonna not retract really. I'm gonna go back a little bit and say this.
Yeah.
In his favor.
Yeah.
His probably best acting part is when he killed his dad.
Yeah.
He pulled that off.
That was pretty good.
Genuinely.
That was pretty good. And I liked it a lot of people said at the end of the movie, they're on the catwalk, Han sees him, and he's like, he ends up calling him. His actual name is Ben Solo. He yells, Ben! And he turns around. Very touching scene, too.
It was a scene where he actually fooled his father that impressed me. Because I knew it was coming anyway.
Yeah.
But I can still see he was somehow trained to do that part really well.
Conflicted. Did really good at confliction.
The little crying or the little choked up feeling, and then, here's the saber.
As the sun burns out.
Exactly. And he's handing them this, and then all of a sudden the twist happens, and he kills his dad.
A lot of people, by the way, a lot of people think maybe Han Solo might not be dead, but
because he fell into the light.
Yeah, but he got stabbed in the heart by a lightsaber.
Was it the heart though?
Yeah, they didn't really show that. They kind of, but who knows?
It's implied as most movies do.
But here's the thing, though: the whole reveal of his face. Okay, almost every case in anything expanding universe, when someone wears a mask, it's because they either have a disfigured face or something like that. I'm not trying to be mean to Adam Driver, but he's like, there's a part where he's basically interrogating Rey. They capture Rey, and she's like, well, how am I supposed to talk to someone when they're wearing a mask? He's like, okay. He just takes it off, and it's like, are you supposed to be intimidating? Well,
I think the whole thing behind that, guys, is that He was wearing a mask so he can walk in the footsteps of his grandfather.
Yeah, and
that's what he was trying to do.
I agree.
The spoiled little kid that wants to be like grandpa, the bad grandpa. So I'm going to do everything grandpa did, even though I don't need a mask. I'm going to wear one anyway because I'm trying to be the next Darth.
You do see him kind of worshiping Darth Vader, and you see it in the trailers too.
Right.
Another thing that I wanted to mention real fast is, and the Supreme Leader Snook, weirdest name ever still don't know who he is. He's this shadowy figure, kind of a Darth Sidious thing. He looks kind of like the alien. I don't know the name of it. If anyone knows anything about Darth Sidious, his master, Darth Plagueis, I believe he's that kind of alien. I can't really tell. But I feel like, oh, by the way, played by Andy Serkis. I love Andy Serkis.
You know why they got the name Snook?
Why?
From Snooki from Jersey Shore.
I'm not gonna lie. Some of the names of this movie
Jersey
were like
Shore
odd.
Stolen. It was stolen from Jersey Shore. His name is Snook. She was Snooki.
Let's not go there. Let's not go there.
I had to throw that in there. It was perfect.
I'm not gonna lie. I was thinking the same thing when I was sitting there watching the movie, and I'm like, this is bad. Well, you also have real fast. I want to say Domhnall. I don't know how to say his name. I believe he is
Spell it.
Domhnall. I'm gonna put a picture of him. Gleason. No,
Domala.
No, I'm probably thinking we're both saying it wrong. He played as General Hux. He was in Ex Machina with Oscar Isaac. He was the main character.
The redhead. He
Yes.
was a ginger.
I'm just gonna say this. He literally acted like what would be, oh god, what's his name? The main guy, the one that was beside Darth Vader, Tarkin, General Tarkin. But he was not as cool as Tarkin. He wasn't intimidating. He just stood there like a stick up his butt. I'm not gonna lie. I was looking forward to see what he would do. He plays as General Hux. He's like the main leader on the Star Destroyer, who's the second in command to, Kylo Ren or Ben Solo. I don't know. I just felt like it was disappointing, but I just wanted to go real fast back to.
By the way,
go ahead.
John, after all said and done and everything he's just mentioned, he gave it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, still great movie.
I couldn't bring myself to do so. I gave it a 7.
Okay.
A very humble 7.
Yeah.
I just can't.
I mean,
it wasn't impressive enough.
There was a lot of technicalities, like, real fast recap because we don't want this to get too long. But, they go and they find the Millennium Falcon, who Han Solo lost it. And as soon as they leave the atmosphere, who finds them? Han Solo. And everyone's like, oh, well, they were already looking for it. I'm like, that is called an Ex Machina. That's called a forced character shoehorn. Like, I love that they brought him in so quickly, but that doesn't make any sense. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's fate. It's like, no, that's called screenwriters.
Yeah. Okay.
But overall, there's a few other little things nitpicking.
The ending. Come on, you got to talk about the ending.
Oh, which part of the ending?
All of it.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
Yes, please go
So you have this whole fight where, like, basically Rey, not even Rey. Rey doesn't even come in. She gets knocked out by a tree because Kylo Ren knocks her into a tree, so Finn goes and picks up the lightsaber. By the way, we need to discuss that lightsaber real fast. But he fights him, ends up getting his butt kicked, and all of a sudden Rey's like, I have the lightsaber, because Kylo Ren's like, well, that's my grandfather's lightsaber because it's Luke Skywalker's lightsaber. I digress. I'm not going to go into that yet. He's like, that's my lightsaber. And the whole time we see him have these amazing force powers. Like, he stops a bolt of laser, but then he's like, I'm going to go grab it. I can't seem to grab it. And I guess they're trying to, I don't know. But anyway, Rey grabs it because she's a chosen one. Real fast, I'm going to say it straight up. If she turns out to be Luke Skywalker's daughter, it's going to be one of those really apparent twists. Like, oh my God. Yeah. Because force powers, by the way, are usually bloodline.
True.
But long story short, she ends up beating him because she has this whole connection where they're fighting, and he literally sits there for like 5 seconds, and they're having their lightsabers crossed.
As she closes her eyes.
If I'm Kylo Ren, who's supposed to be a bad guy, I wouldn't be like, what are you doing? You're just sitting there closing your eyes. Like, I guess they're trying to imply time slow down, or she was getting connection to the Force.
That was just lame editing.
I don't know.
It was lame writing and lame editing. I'm sorry. I love J.J. Abrams. He's a great guy, but that was lame.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm watching, the scene as I'm directing it, and you're going to sit there and close your eyes. I mean, if you pushed him away and he's slowly getting up or something, and he's trying to recover, and then you all of a sudden go into your...
Yeah, that would make more sense.
That would have made more sense for her to be able to go.
They were trying to make it tension, though.
It was not tension, though. It was more... again, you guys are looking at filmmakers, and you're looking at guys who are vested in the film highly. So we see things different than you do. For me, I was not. My suspension of belief was very little.
Yeah, especially that part.
Very little, because I need to really be engulfed in the movie that I'm watching to the point where I don't want to think about the mistakes you're doing as a filmmaker.
Yeah.
And therefore, when I saw that,
it almost seemed rushed, in my opinion.
Very much so. Some scenes were very rushed. Towards the end, that ending, to me, was weak.
I think they must have rewrote it or something. Because
from 1 to 10, it was a 4.
The whole thing is they ended up blowing up the plant, whatever, that had actuator plant, whatever, and then it caused the whole planet was imploding. The ground separated. She had cut his face, and now he's going to be scarred in the next movie, which obviously we kind of assumed. They ended up getting away, and basically the movie ends on the note that Han died. She's going to become a Jedi. They end up finding out where Luke is.
So why am I giving it a 7, and why is John giving it an 8? Well, let's tell him that real quick.
Well, I give it an 8 because nostalgia. I enjoyed it. I thought a lot of they did more practical effects, but I thought a lot of some of the fighting scenes were okay. A lot of those lightsabers I felt like didn't make any sense. I felt like some of the flying scenes with the Millennium Falcon was cool. Some of the scenes with the X-Wings were cool. There's really 2 battles with flying. I mean, well, I guess 3 if you count the TIE fighter part where they first escape.
Yeah.
But overall, I really liked it. I felt like I couldn't give it worse than that because it's still an establishing episode.
Yeah. I don't agree with the fact that they showed Skywalker for like 30 seconds.
I kind of didn't like that either, and I feel like that's why I said that they rewrote it. I think he was supposed to be in more of the movie, but then for some reason that they changed it. I don't know why, but I wanted to say real fast before you get into yours, because I wanted to get this out of my head. I get that there's no other Jedi to make lightsabers. I get that Rey is a new trainer, and that later in the movie that because the way they wrote it, they weren't going to have Luke Skywalker. But they find his lightsaber, the one he got when his hand cut off, that it fell down in Cloud City on Bespin, and literally the character that has it, I'm not going to go into too much detail because I don't want to rant on it. It was like, oh, you're probably wondering why I have this, but that's a story for another time.
I was waiting for you to bring that up.
Now, I get it. I get it because it makes sense. Where the heck are we going to get another lightsaber? They don't explain where Kylo Ren gets his lightsaber. They're implying maybe Snook taught him how to make a lightsaber. That's different. He had a mentor.
Right.
And this whole movie, technically speaking, she doesn't have anything. Which, once again, I want to say, to wrap up my thing, she beats Kylo Ren in a fight who allegedly had training in lightsabers. She and Finn, neither one of them did, and both of them used a lightsaber.
Well, hold on now. She does have training because she had that stick on her back, so it implied.
Yeah, but they never really show her using other than smacking people occasionally.
But she's implied that she has training in fighting.
Yeah, I agree.
Had to survive. So therefore, yeah, you can tell she was a trained fighter.
And real fast, and people can say, oh, well, maybe it's because she has connection to the Force, and maybe she knows how to do it. But
could be.
Whatever.
All right.
What's your reason? Sorry.
I'm more character driven. So my 7 out of 10 rating comes back to the point that they paid homage to all the old characters. All the old characters came back. They were segued into the film correctly. So to me, that makes a lot of sense, and it makes me feel good about watching a movie that they didn't cheat us out of that. They could have very easily cheated us out of that, and they could have just done away with everybody. But they didn't. Yes, they didn't give him enough time on the screen. I agree. However, being the fact that they brought him back, there was reuniting going on with Han Solo and Leia. That was very good. The fact that they talk about their son and blame Luke for the failure of them training their son was very well put, because it kind of leads into 8 and what's going to happen next. So from my perspective, it's more about character driven. Believe it or not, in my opinion, the bad guys kind of had more of an establishing presence in the movie than the actual good guys.
Yeah, a lot darker.
Yeah, a lot darker, a lot more established, because they have a background. Their background is Darth Vader and everything he stood up for and everything he's done. And so, coming into 7, you can understand where that came from. Mm-hmm. Whereas the good guys were more scattered around. You had the kid, Finn, came out of nowhere. He was obviously a stormtrooper. And then you had Rey, who was in a desert. Yeah. Doesn't say how she got to the desert. All you see is her sitting down, looking at a ship, leaving, the atmosphere, and kind of like you can tell she's hoping and wondering.
They did have that flashback implying she was left there, but
very little. You can't really tell anything. You can just see that she's saying no, 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 and someone's pulling her away, and it was an alien hand that was pulling her away. It wasn't even a human hand. So 7 out of 10, I guess, is fair. I know some people might not agree, but for the meanwhile, until we figure out what the story plot for 8 is going to be, that's the best you're going to get from me, because I just don't see it being any better than that. I'm sorry. I mean, it could have gotten lower, but I don't want to be too unfair.
And the 2 reasons why I only give it an 8 is because some of the acting could have been better with some of the newer people. And I think it wouldn't be a 10-2 because the plot I didn't feel was completely original.
It could have been better.
I feel like they just did it as a base plot, and then they kind of wrapped, a painting around that. You know?
Would I go see it again, by the way?
Oh yeah, I would. I would.
I'd wait for a DVD.
Really?
Yeah, I'd wait for a DVD. I wouldn't go see it again unless I want to get like
D-box. Like we go and spend like the $25.
Yeah, I want to move around in a.
It's like
that's the only reason.
X-Wing.
That's the only reason I'd go see it again. But I would rather wait for the DVD. Maybe they're gonna throw some behind the scenes stuff in the the Blu-ray version. But overall, it wasn't that bad. It was good. So there you have it. That's my opinion. What do you guys think? What do you think?
I really think that it was actually really good. What do you guys think? Comment. Please let us know what your thoughts. If you've seen it, please try to keep it spoiler free in the comment section. Please. I mean, I know someone's not going to do it because everyone loves spoiling this movie. Overall, one of the things that we want to do, it's kind of belated because we're doing this on Christmas Eve and our episodes come out on Thursday. But next Thursday, which will be the 31st, we're going to be doing Home Alone. So it's a little belated. We wanted to do a Christmas special. Still kind of fits the season because, New Year's is still kind of the holiday season. I hope you guys enjoy Home Alone. We're only going to do the first one, the most classic one.
Yeah. Just going to play with it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a classic. It's a comedy. It's something both me and Joe love. We want to review and bring that up.
And we heard he's coming back.
Yeah, Macaulay Culkin's been coming back for like 5 years now, but he's not dead yet, so he's still coming back.
Well, if he makes another Home Alone, I will be floored.
That would be interesting. He's a dad somehow.
Yeah.
Okay. Overall, we're trying to figure out this length. Let us know what you guys like. Let us know what you guys would like to see. Also, we put up the phone back for now. We still want to do that idea where we put up the shelves.
We will.
Get it. We're going to get a P.O. box. We're going to give you guys that information when we do. You guys can send us in like little figurines, cameras. We want to get old to new, like you said. Basically, we want to have like maybe 3 or 4 shelves and have it decorated with your guys' stuff.
Absolutely.
Maybe even pin up some fan art if you guys want to do fan art of us, or maybe something we joke about. We want it to be a community wall. We want you guys to be able to see that and feel appreciated by it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another thing I want to say is that we're basically going to wrap it up from here.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah.
Go enjoy the rest of your Christmas Eve time with your family.
And appreciate you if you guys got to this point. If you guys skipped the spoiler point, hi.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Yeah. So overall, go check us out on Facebook. We still have our fan page. We're working on thinking about making a website. We'll keep you posted on that.
That's right.
There's a lot of things that we want to do.
A lot of things in the mix, guys.
Yeah, we're even going to get business cards eventually.
Ooh.
And maybe merchandise eventually.
We're getting official.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we still want to do. But check us out on Patreon. Check us out on Facebook. Oh, real fast, one more wrap up. I know this is a long wrap up, but there's a lot that we're changing with the show. We're going to suspend the live shows for now.
Yes, that's right, guys. We're going to suspend the live show for a while because we're trying to make it better for you. We heard a lot of good feedback. Good feedback. People, and everybody loved it, but the latency was really getting on people. So we understand that because we watched it also afterwards, and we're like, and
it was a pain to do the cut trying to sync that. I'm like,
yeah, we didn't care for that. So we're gonna hold off on the live shows for a little while. This is more professional. It's better cut, and it makes you feel comfortable watching it, so you don't have to worry about the latency and everything else that comes with it.
And here's the thing: let us know the length, because like I said, we're approaching 45 minutes or so. Most podcasts that are established are an hour. We wanted it to be 15 minutes. It's unrealistic because we want to have it relaxed and have it in depth.
Absolutely.
Let us know. If you guys want us to try to get it to 30 minutes, we'll try to be quick, But at the same time, we don't want to be, blah, 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 just talking out our butt on it. And
we want to enjoy ourselves doing a show. This is the whole concept of the show, is that we want to talk like we were in your living room. We're coming to you. We're sitting down with you. We're having a an hour of your time or 45 minutes of your time where we're just enjoying ourselves, having a cup of coffee or some juice or water.
And it's one a week, too.
And it's once a week. So it's not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you guys are going to see a lot more fun stuff coming down the pipeline now that we're done with the Star Wars, you know,
We have some
festivities.
ideas real fast. We have some ideas
Don't give
for
it
another
away.
series.
Don't give it away. Why you want to ever give it?
No.
No, don't give nothing away.
Okay.
Leave it till then. We'll talk about it on the next episode.
Yep.
We promise.
Okay.
So don't say anything. So we're going to close it out, guys. And from this point forward, enjoy the rest of your Christmas Eve into your Christmas. We hope
Merry
you have a great
Christmas.
Christmas. Yes, Merry Christmas. And as always,
See you on the Nile.